Sign it, Claire. You're my wife. What's yours is ours. My husband stood in our kitchen, pushing papers across the marble counter. 8 years of marriage. And this is what it came down to. He wanted my $1 million inheritance. All of it, in his name. I looked at the documents. Transfer of assets. Joint account agreement. His signature already there, waiting for mine. Mark, I need time to think. Time? We're partners. Or does that only matter when it's convenient for you? How do you know when love turns into a heist? I didn't sign. Not that day. But he didn't stop asking. What I didn't know yet was that he'd been planning this for months. Every conversation, every suggestion, every guilt trip, all calculated. I had proof. Bank records, emails. A private investigator's report my aunt commissioned before she died. I just hadn't found it yet. The lawyer's business card was already in my wallet. I just hadn't called her. Yet. Before we go further, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from and what time it is there. And if you've ever felt trapped by someone you trusted, hit that subscribe button. You're not alone. Let me back up. I lost my parents when I was 12. Car accident. No warning. One day they were there, the next they weren't. My Aunt Diane took me in. She was my mom's older sister, an immigrant who came here with nothing and built everything herself. She started as a seamstress, worked nights, saved every dollar, eventually got her real estate license and became one of the top agents in the city. Aunt Diane taught me 2 things. Work hard and document everything. Claire, keep records, emails, contracts, receipts. People forget. Paper doesn't. I met Mark in grad school. I was studying graphic design. He was getting his MBA, talking about startups and disruption and changing the world. He was charming, ambitious. He made me feel like we were building something together. We got married young. I was 24. He was 26. His tech startup struggled. Funding fell through. Investors pulled out. At least that's what he told me. I kept working. Freelance design clients. Enough to pay my half of the bills. Then, 6 months ago, Aunt Diane died. Suddenly. Heart attack in her sleep. At the reading of the will, the lawyer said a number I couldn't process. $1.2 million. Property. Investments. Life insurance. All of it to me. Sole beneficiary. Mark hugged me at the funeral. Babe, I'm so sorry. But at least she made sure you're taken care of. We're taken care of. 2 weeks later, the questions started. So when does the money come through? Have you thought about what we're going to do with it? My buddy Chad is a financial advisor. We should talk to him. I should have seen it then. At first, Mark framed it as partnership. Babe, we should put this in a joint account. Maximize growth. Build our future together. I hesitated. I want to wait. The estate is still being settled. It's complicated. Complicated? Claire, we're married. This is what couples do. Then he introduced Chad, the financial advisor. They set up a dinner without asking me first. Chad came prepared. He had papers, graphs, a whole pitch. Most married couples consolidate assets immediately. It's just smart planning. You're leaving money on the table. I felt cornered. I need to think about it. Mark's face changed. Think about it? What's there to think about? Do you not trust me? That's not what I said. Then what is it, Claire? Because from where I'm sitting, you're treating me like a stranger. You're hiding money. Our money. It's not our money. It's my inheritance. Silence. He stood up from the table. Maybe we need to rethink this whole thing. Because I don't recognize you right now. Chad looked uncomfortable. He left. Mark went to the guest room. 3 days later, he came back with an ultimatum. You have until Friday. Either you sign the transfer papers or I'm calling my lawyer. Your choice. Friday was 3 days away. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. The subject line said, "You should see this." Inside was a PDF, a draft divorce petition. My name, his name, allegations that I had concealed marital assets and committed financial infidelity. I felt sick. He was already talking to a lawyer. This wasn't a bluff. I called my best friend Jordan. Maybe he has a point, Claire. I mean, you did keep it separate. Marriage is supposed to be a partnership. Even she didn't get it. I felt completely alone. That afternoon, my phone buzzed. An alert from the bank. Unusual activity detected. 3 failed login attempts on your account from an unrecognized device. Someone had tried to access my inheritance account. 3 times. I sat in my car outside the bank, hands shaking. Was it him? Was he trying to break into my account? I thought about calling the police, but what would I even say? I thought I'd already lost. Then I remembered something Aunt Diane said the last time I saw her. Claire, if anyone ever tries to take what's yours, fight back. I gave you the tools. You just have to use them. What tools? That night I went through her files. The ones the estate lawyer gave me, and I found the second envelope. The one with my name on it in red ink. The one the lawyer told me not to open unless I absolutely had to. I opened it. Inside the envelope was a handwritten letter. Aunt Diane's handwriting. Claire, if you're reading this, someone is pressuring you. Probably him. My hands went cold. She knew. She knew about Mark. I had him vetted a year before I passed. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I wanted to be wrong. I wasn't. Attached to the letter was a report. A private investigator's summary. 3 pages. I read it twice. Mark's startup didn't fail because of investors. It failed because of gambling, poker, sports betting, online casinos, $140,000 in debt. He'd told me it was the market, timing, bad luck with funding. He lied. The report was dated 14 months ago. Aunt Diane had known this whole time. At the bottom of the letter was a business card. Linda Zhao, estate attorney. A yellow sticky note was attached. She knows everything. She has the full file. I've already paid her retainer through next year. Call her. Trust her. My aunt had built me a lifeboat before she even got on the Titanic. I looked at the card. I looked at the calendar. Friday was 2 days away. I finally had proof. But would it be enough? Mark turned up the heat. Wednesday morning, his parents called me. Both of them. On speaker. Claire, Mark told us you're refusing to share the inheritance. That's not how marriage works, sweetheart. You need to think about your partner. He'd told them his version. Made me the villain. I tried to explain, but they didn't want to hear it. This is between you and Mark. But we raised him to value partnership. We're disappointed. They hung up. I felt humiliated. That afternoon, I went into Mark's office to grab a charger. His laptop was open. I didn't mean to snoop, but I saw the browser tabs. Can husband claim wife's inheritance? Force postnuptial agreement. Divorce asset split inheritance state law. He wasn't just mad. He was researching, planning. I took a photo of the screen with my phone. Friday came. Mark's lawyer called. On speakerphone in our living room. Mrs. Hollis, my client has been more than patient. Your refusal to cooperate will be noted in any legal proceedings. We also have testimony that you made verbal commitments prior to marriage regarding shared assets. Verbal commitments? That was a lie. Sign the papers by midnight tonight, or we file the petition Monday morning. This is your last opportunity to resolve this amicably. Mark stared at me. I had 6 hours. I picked up my phone and called Linda. Linda met me at a coffee shop 1 hour later. She brought a thick accordion file. Your aunt sent me copies of everything before she passed. I've been waiting for you to call. She pulled out 2 documents. The first one stopped my heart. A prenuptial agreement. I remembered signing a stack of papers before the wedding. Mark said it was insurance paperwork. Beneficiary forms. Standard stuff. I never read it carefully. Linda flipped to page 4. Clause 8. Any inheritance received by either party during the marriage shall remain the sole and separate property of the receiving party. No community claim shall attach. Mark had signed it. I had signed it. It was notarized. He had no legal claim to my inheritance. None. He lied to you about what you were signing. But it protects you now. The second document was worse. An email chain. Between Mark and Chad. The subject line, Claire timeline. Linda read one line out loud. We need her signature before she talks to the estate attorney. Once it's joint, we can access the liquidity and clear my accounts. The email was dated 6 days after Aunt Diane's funeral. He hadn't just lied. He'd been plotting this from the beginning. Linda walked me through the rest. Mark's total debts, $183,000. 3 creditors, 2 were threatening lawsuits. Settlement offers had expired the month before. He was out of time, out of options. The plan was simple. Get me to transfer the inheritance into a joint account, then drain it. Pay off the debts. Fund a second startup with Chad's brother-in-law, the divorce lawyer who'd just called me. It was all coordinated. A family operation. The financial infidelity angle was designed to isolate me, make me look unreasonable, greedy, so that when I refused, he could file and claim I'd broken some implied marital contract. His parents didn't know about the gambling. He'd kept that hidden from everyone. They think he's the victim here, Linda said. I felt rage. Not the hot kind. The cold kind. What do I do? Linda leaned forward. We move first, tonight. She'd already drafted everything. Legal separation. Restraining order. Evidence package. All I had to do was sign. Your aunt knew this might happen. That's why she hired me. That's why she had him investigated. She gave you everything you need to win. I looked at the documents. I picked up the pen. Now I knew exactly what to do. Linda laid out the plan. Step 1. Execute the irrevocable trust. Aunt Diane had already drafted it. Transfer the full inheritance into a protected trust with me as the sole trustee. Mark couldn't touch it. Ever. Step 2. File for legal separation citing attempted financial coercion and fraud. Step 3. Request a restraining order preventing him from contacting me about the assets. Step 4. Send the evidence package to his lawyer. The prenup. The emails. The PI report. Everything. We do this tonight. Before midnight. Before his deadline. I signed the trust paperwork at 11:04 p.m. The money moved at 11:11. $1.2 million. Locked, protected, untouchable. Linda sent an email to Mark's attorney at 11:30. The subject line, Mrs. Hollis, Notice of Representation and Evidence of Fraud. The body was one paragraph. Please see attached prenuptial agreement, Clause 8, which explicitly waives your client's claim to any inheritance. Also attached, evidence of conspiracy to defraud. We will be filing for legal separation Monday at 9 a.m. Any petition filed by your client is premature and without merit. Govern yourself accordingly. I didn't tell Mark. I went home. He was in the guest room. I didn't sleep. I didn't need to. Monday was coming, and I was ready. Monday morning, 9 a.m., Linda filed the separation petition and restraining order. Mark's lawyer tried to counter, but when he saw the prenup and the evidence package, he went quiet. An emergency hearing was scheduled for Wednesday. Family court. Small chamber. Judge Patricia Ruiz presiding. Mark showed up with his attorney. And his parents. He thought he was going to win. Linda opened with one sentence. Your Honor, this is a case of attempted financial fraud disguised as a marital dispute. She walked to the screen and projected the first document. The prenuptial agreement. Page 4, Clause 8. Highlighted in yellow. The respondent signed a binding waiver 8 years ago. He has no legal claim to the inheritance. Yet he threatened divorce and alleged financial infidelity to coerce my client into surrendering assets he knowingly waived. Mark's lawyer stood. Your Honor, our position is that... The judge raised her hand. Let her finish. Linda clicked to the next slide. The email chain. Mark to Chad. Subject line visible. She read the line out loud. We need her signature before she talks to the estate attorney. Once it's joint, we can access the liquidity and clear my accounts. Mark's face went pale. His mother whispered something to him. He didn't answer. Linda pulled up the third document. The private investigator's report. The respondent misrepresented the reason for his business failure. He told my client and his family it was due to investor withdrawal. In fact, it was due to $140,000 in gambling debt. Mark's father stood up. "Is this true?" The judge looked at him. "Sir, sit down." He sat. Linda continued. "Finally, Your Honor, we have evidence that the respondent attempted to access my client's bank account without authorization. 3 failed login attempts the day before his ultimatum." She showed the bank security log. Mark's attorney leaned over and whispered to him. Mark shook his head. The attorney stood. "Your Honor, in light of the evidence presented, we withdraw any claim to the inheritance and request a continuance to reassess our position." The judge wasn't having it. "No continuance. I'm granting the petition for legal separation. The restraining order is granted. Respondent is prohibited from any contact with petitioner regarding financial matters. And I'm referring your co-counsel for an ethics review based on the coordination alleged in these emails." She looked at Mark. "You tried to defraud your wife. You failed. Be grateful she's not pursuing criminal charges." The gavel came down. It was over. Mark moved out the following Sunday. He didn't say a word. Just packed his things and left. His parents tried calling me once. I didn't answer. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. Uncontested. Mark declared bankruptcy 3 weeks after the hearing. It became public record. The startup dream was over. He moved back in with his parents. I didn't pursue damages. I didn't need to. I just needed him gone. And he was. I took a portion of the inheritance and established a scholarship fund. $50,000. The Diane Chen Memorial Scholarship. For first-generation college students studying business or design. The first recipient was announced at the local community college last spring. A young woman who reminded me of my aunt. I kept my design job. I didn't quit. I didn't buy a mansion. I didn't need to prove anything. I started therapy twice a week at first, then once a week. Learning to trust again is hard. Harder than I thought. But I'm doing it. Mark's parents sent a letter 6 months after the divorce. A real letter, handwritten. We didn't know about the gambling. We didn't know what he was planning. We're sorry for the things we said. We hope you can forgive us. I wrote back, short, kind, honest. I forgive you, but we won't be close. I need boundaries. I hope you understand. They never replied. That was okay. One night, going through Aunt Diane's things, I found her old journals. In an entry from 30 years ago, she wrote about her ex-husband. The one she divorced before I was born. He'd tried to control her money, her business, her life. She'd fought back, won, and rebuilt everything. She knew what I was going through because she'd lived it. That's why she prepared everything. The trust. The lawyer. The investigator. She gave me the armor I needed before the battle even started. A year later, I'm sitting in a park with a coffee, sketching in my notebook. Single, stable, free. I'm not richer than I was before. Not really, but I'm freer. And there's a difference. Real love doesn't come with a price tag. It doesn't demand surrender. It doesn't need your signature on a transfer form to prove itself. Boundaries aren't betrayal. They're survival. I learned that the hard way, but I learned it. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to choose between someone you loved and protecting yourself? What did you do? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this helped you see the red flags, if it gave you the courage to set a boundary or make a call, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you haven't already. There are more stories coming. True stories. Hard stories. Stories that end with people standing up. You're not alone. Oh, and one last thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization. Nothing I've shared here is legal or financial advice. Always consult licensed professionals for your specific situation. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.